Northwestern Chronicles, Episode 23, Bertie and Bulgy's Wild Ride. Bertie the red bus pulled up next to Thomas at Knapford Station to pick up some passengers. Thomas and Bertie were good friends ever since they had their great race a long time ago. They both agreed to stop racing for the good of the railway, but still like to joke about it sometimes. "Hello, Bertie," greeted Thomas. "Here to pick up some passengers?" "Yep," said Bertie. I'm very excited for the holiday season, so I figured I'd get some work in before the rush." "Indeed," said Thomas. "I'm picking up some passengers of my own here. Annie and Clarabelle are excited for the holiday season as well." "Ah, yes, me too," agreed Bertie. "I do like seeing the faces of the children and their families as they climb in. Very excited for Christmas and all." "Indeed," said Thomas. Suddenly, a familiar horn sounded off in the distance. Sounds familiar," said Bertie. "Very familiar," agreed Thomas. And suddenly he appeared. It was Bulgy. "Hello, Bulgy," greeted Bertie. "Long time no see." Likewise," said Bulgy. "How are you doing today, Bertie?" "Oh, just fine. What brings you here?" "Well," said Bulgy, "I'm picking up some passengers." "That's nice," said Thomas. "What branch line are you running?" "Oh, the Farquhar line." Bertie paused for a second. "Oh, that's Thomas's branch line. That's my branch line, actually." "Well, our branch line, but I didn't realize we were getting a new bus today. So, Bulgy, how you been?" "I've been fine. Actually. How are you?" "Oh, good. So Sir Top and Hat called you here?" "Yep, here to pick up some passengers. With the extra floor, Sir Top and Hat could put as many passengers as he wants in me." "You could put as many passengers as they want. You could fit as many passengers as you want, but ultimately it's speed that wins the day." "Really," said Bulgy. "I wish to challenge that theory." The two buses continued to bicker about who was the better bus. The engines were growing rather sick of it, though. "Oh, can you two please be quiet?" said Thomas. "I have the holiday rush coming up, and I can't have you two bickering the whole time. Why not, instead of bickering, you guys can just decide over which one is the better bus by racing?" "Yeah, I actually like that idea," said Bulgy. "Me too," agreed Bertie. "Let's do it." "Well, okay," said Thomas. "Your whistle blows before mine, so you two will be leaving earlier. I'll catch up with you guys later, though." The two buses got ready after the passengers went inside them. And sure enough, the whistle blew, and the buses darted out of Knapford Station. They were neck and neck for most part, but sometimes one of them caught speed as they went past the old iron bridge. Bertie darted ahead of Bulgy as he rounded the bend, but Bulgy was quick to come behind him. The two buses once again were neck and neck. Bulgy sprung to the lead and jumped over the track, going through the other side and continuing along the route. Bulgy followed suit. Instead of taking a left turn like the safety regulations advised, Bulgy swerved to the right and decided to go behind Tidmouth Sheds. Bulgy followed suit to keep up with him. From the other side of Tidmouth Sheds, Bulgy emerged and raced in front of Terence, catching him quite off guard. He blew through some trees, and soon he appeared on the other side of the line. Following after him was Bertie, who came behind Terence and emerged from the trees. Bulgy stopped suddenly at the Wellsworth crossing. Bertie braked hard. The passengers inside them were growing rather scared, and very surprised at all the jolts and sudden stops. Sure enough, Percy emerged from the Archstone Bridge with some trucks. He trundled along the Wellsworth crossing, and as soon as he exited, the signalman opened up the gates of the crossing. Once all the gates were open, Bulgy raced through the crossing. Bertie was quick to follow suit. The two buses soon arrived at Marion Station to drop off and pick up some more passengers. "Well done, Bulgy," said Bertie. "You made it to the first checkpoint before me, and I'll make it to the next two as well," said Bulgy. "Admitted, I'm the better bus." "We'll see who wins this race," said Bertie. The last passenger barely made it inside Bulgy, and he darted out of Marion Station. Bertie followed after him. Up ahead at the court, things were more busy than ever. Oliver soon arrived with some trucks. Laurie was also delivering some packages for the quarry for the workmen at the quarry, and Stanley was as well. All the engines were working hard as Bertie and Bulgy continued with their race. Bertie took the lead and jolted in front of Stanley, catching him off guard. He swerved by Laurie and went over the switch track, just as Oliver was going over it. Bulgy was quick to catch up, though. He, too, went in front of Stanley and swerved by Laurie. "Could you two please stop?" said Laurie. "We're trying to work here." Bulgy and Bertie didn't care to listen, as they jumped over the switch just as Oliver was making his way. The two buses soon made their way to Elsbridge Station. After dropping off and picking up more passengers, they decided to go their own way. Bertie went in front of Elsbridge Station, while Bulgy went behind. He soon arrived under the viaduct and barely made it before Emily crashed into him. "Be more careful," she cried. Bertie raced away from Gordon's Hill and crashed into the railroad crossing sign. He was inching towards the Sodor airfield, but not for long. Bulgy emerged from under the viaduct and raced across the Sodor airfield. As Bulgy departed, Bertie followed suit and raced across the airfield. After going across the runway, the docks was straight ahead. The three Hat children were greeting the incoming passengers. If they would make it there in time, however, Bertie and Bulgy kept trying to overtake each other. However, soon, Bertie arrived just in the nick of time. Bulgy arrived just seconds after. "Well," said Bulgy, "I guess you've won. I'm happy to concede this race to you, Bertie." "Well, thank you, Bulgy. You played very honorably today." The two buses continued to chit-chat as the passengers climbed into the ship that was leaving Sodor. "We should race again." "Yeah, maybe we should," said Bulgy. Suddenly, a familiar voice sounded off in the distance. Or sounded off close. "Uh-oh," said Bertie. It was Richard Hat. Bertie, Bulgy, you know that racing is against the railway guidelines," finished the buses. "Well, at least the passengers got here on time. Anyways, you two should be more careful." As Richard Hat walked away, the two buses snickered. Bertie and the two new friends, decided that they would race once again.